Hey guys, wow, it's been a minute. I've been just watching a lot of these games, but because I also have a job where I'm working as well as trying to catch up with the World Cup, I've tried not to cheat people by, I guess, turning in half-cooked videos and without watching the games properly. But this weekend, wow, we've been treated to some really good football. Um, a lot of the games were much closer than I think they they were expected. First game yesterday was the U.S. and the Netherlands. No surprise in terms of the outcome there, even though as a person who lives in the U.S. now and supports um, both, the U.S. men's and women's national team, it was gutting to see them lose that game against the Netherlands. I think they gave a good account of themselves, the Americans, in this tournament, but it was also quite clear though that they're still fairly short in terms of big game experience. Most of their World Cup for me was like how well they played in between the two boxes. In terms of like from their defensive box, 18-yard box to the offensive 18-yard box. That's where a lot of the good football for the US took place. A lot of good tackling, a lot of good pressing, a lot of good passing, some really, really good plays. I love their midfield, even though if Berhalter is going to keep pushing his fullbacks as high as he has been, he may want to instruct the midfielders to, at least the ones on either side of Tyler Adams. You might want to instruct, like, hey, when one goes up, one of you hangs, and when the other one goes up, the other one hangs. At the moment, from what I've been seeing, is that like the US have been overcommitting in offense and leaving Tyler Adams basically to be the one protective player. Maybe he could change that through a double pivot, maybe, or he just instructs Musa and McKinney to be a bit more disciplined. But yesterday, I mean, I think 3-1 was a bit more flattering to the Dutch, even though I don't think the Dutch deserve less than a win in that game because they were efficient. And I think the US were a little bit naive at times. Like I said, with overcommitting players, you can't have both your fullbacks playing that high and then two of the three midfielders are also going up high. I think it's high risk. And I think the US also could benefit from basically getting a striker or some goal threat. I think center forward was definitely of the attacking positions was their weakest position, and because they had chances, even though they did not, you know, score, they had lots and lots of chances. It could have been 3-3 in that game. It could have been 4-3 for Netherlands, 4-3 for the US. Long story long, I just think the game, probably the right winner went through in that game. And then in the next game, it was Australia, Argentina. That one was also quite close, to be honest. I expected it to be tough because Australians can be quite um, like big-hearted, like committed sportsmen in general. Like they are that way with rugby, they are that way with cricket. They're a nation that I think administratively they do such a good job of making sure that they're setting up their teams in whatever the sport is for success. They have like a history of just good administration in that country in developing games. I know that football is not their number one national sport, but I was expecting them to show some heart, and I know they have some skill. They have some players who play in Europe. Um, and it turned out to be such. Like they gave Argentina a proper run. It was much closer than I think people who don't watch football daily would have expected. I I do think even in that game though, Argentina were probably um, a bit better and deserved to go through. Um, and as a Messi fan personally, I was also happy to see him have an impact on the game. Argentina, I think, also took a bit of time figuring out their midfield. I think now um, Enzo with McAllister and who's on the right again? Shoot, Enzo McAllister. Oh, and DePaul. I think that's their best three in terms of balance and in terms of like two-way play, attacking and defensive balance. Those three are the best, I would say. And I think moving forward, he might be better off. Scaloni, he might be better off playing this kid from Manchester United, Lissandro Martinez, as a left back and allowing the right back to maybe venture forward a bit more. I think that would give them better balance, and that way he could afford to probably play Di Maria and Messi, who are not probably going to give you a lot defensively, but you know that you have some defensive insurance, because Martinez is a very, very strong defender. Acuna actually has done very little wrong. Actually, he's been very good for them. But I think for the next round, I would, if I was in his position, I would play Lissandro Martinez ahead of Acuna, and then it would be Romero and Otamendi. So when they have the ball, they could switch into a three and push Molina down the right flank to join the attacking play. Argentina look good. They look balanced. Emi Martinez has been a good find for them in goal. He had some big moments in the game yesterday. There were a couple of close shaves, both for both teams, because it got a little tense there in those last 10, 15 minutes. But I think Argentina going through was probably the right result. I know I have a bit of bias towards them, but I think they played well enough to win the game. This morning's game, or the first game of today being Sunday, is well, just finished now, was France and Poland. I think that was the most convincing win by a winner in this round of 16 games. I think France played the best football out of all the teams that won, but I must give a shout out to Poland as well. They made it into a game. They really, really gave France a good scare in that first 40 minutes or so, and continued until France got their second goal. So I know Giroud scored a really, really good goal. Kind of looked a little bit Ozilian with that little Mesut Ozil kick the ball into the ground and then bounces off. And I think that's what did Chesney. It was a really good goal, very well taken goal. Actually, all three goals for France were really amazing. The first one by Giroud, and then the next two by Mbappe were just world class finishes with such power and precision as well. Sometimes players have to sacrifice power for precision, and sometimes when they go for power, they lose the precision. Both hits by Mbappe. I know the second one was a slight deflection, it looked like, but my goodness, that kid is just playing. He's playing his own in his own world at the moment. I don't. He reminds me of a young Messi in the way he's playing. He's got, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the limit is for him in this World Cup. I know that they're going to be watching, and whoever comes through in the Senegal England game, probably England, but we'll see. I know, being an African person myself, I would like it if it was Senegal, but I think whoever comes through from that game is going to have a lot to deal with. Mbappe is fit and well to get going from the jump. This France team, even though they've lost so many players, they look so good. So yeah, let's see how it all goes as the knockout rounds keep going and going. But yeah, France 3, Poland nil. I mean, sorry, 1, because they scored a penalty at the very, very end. Um, I think I think Poland might feel like they could have scored more goals in this game, um, but so could France. And yeah, I think France probably played the best football from the teams that have gone through in this particular round of games. They were really good today, and Kylian was at the heart of most things good offensively. but they play good as a unit too. They have Dembele on the right and Griezmann and all these guys have played a lot together. Griezmann, Giroud, Mbappe. It's just so easy for them. They make it look really really easy because they know each other's moves and they know where each one of them likes to receive the ball. The chemistry is just solid, and defensively they look good. They have such a depth of talent this France national team at the moment. Um, I think they will like their chances of going all the way again. But it's very rare though that teams defend the World Cup. So we'll see what happens in the next round. I'm gonna stop this one here. I look forward to seeing England and Senegal in a little bit, and the rest of this round of 16 games. See you guys soon. Cheers.